FMC, how you doing, my friend?
R2, how you doing, bud?
I'm great, man. Happy to have you up here. You ready to do the thing?
Yeah, man, let's do the thing. Let's get it going. You want to just jump into it since I'm a little late? I'm sorry, my internet was. I just had to reset everything, and I'm good to go now. You want to jump right in?
I totally feel your pain. Yeah, let's just jump right in. We're about 5 minutes in. That's normally when we kick things off, anyways. So just assume that FMC played one of his bangers before here, and everyone's filed in. But free market, how are you doing today? It's Moon Monday and Terrestrial Thursday all rolled into one. So happy July 4th to everybody that was celebrating on Monday. That was
And
the
a
main
happy
reason
Canada
why.
Day to you, my friend. It was Canada Day and July 4th, all within a stretch of each other, huh?
Yeah, they're always pretty close to each other. Canada Day, of course, being on Friday, July
It doesn't
4th.
change with the
So
moon.
no, no,
Oh,
no, definitely not based on the
I thought
moon
it was moon
cycles or
based.
anything.
All right,
Yeah.
didn't realize it.
No, but it was definitely a weekend of celebration across North America, and I hope everybody had a great time celebrating with friends and family. But on that note, we are going to roll Moon Monday and Terrestrial Thursday all up into one. We have our friend from DefiMons, Stitch. He's going to be talking to us after we get through the Moon Monday announcements. And I think it's good. How has your week been? It seems like a pretty bullish day for Ethereum. There's definitely some volume coming back in the NFT space. I saw a couple of projects kind of going nuts this morning, and all of a sudden, maybe things are looking a little bit better.
Well, I think it's a little bullish out there. We'll see if we can build on top of it. Everybody is obviously gun shy with PTSD from the last 6 months. So, what you're going to see is on the way up when we get to certain levels, people cash out quick because, oh my God, I got my money back. I broke even. Probably be a little volatile, but yeah, everything looks pretty bullish today. I really think it comes down to in Sorry, I just got rugged by my phone. Am I back now? I think it just comes down.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
good.
think it just comes down to inflation. We're seeing oil come down dramatically. That is going to show up at the pump over the next few weeks. That makes people feel better. And we're seeing volume in crypto, NFTs. Great stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely nice to see some life come back into things. People are chatting a little bit more. There's also always a long weekend hangover with these kind of things too, where everybody's kind of just burnt out, worn out, and you got to kind of go back to reality after that too. But it is Thursday, July 7th, and we are making our way into the summer now. So let's get into some of the talking points we have for our Moon Monday, because there's some pretty exciting stuff on the horizon. And I promise you, despite all of the holidays and everything, the dev team has been incredibly hard at work. Of course, we have our own developer chat going in our Discord where they're collaborating and working on things, and it really just seems like they haven't stopped typing in there, as well as the work that they've been doing. A lot of stuff has been on the testing server being tested by the team, making sure that all of the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. But the big announcement that we have going on today is that the home base is going to be going live. So you are going to be able to log into game.starwolvez.com and check out the very first version of the home base. Now, we still have a little bit of time before we start getting into the actual base building part of it, but you're going to kind of get a lay of the land. You're going to be able to start setting up your team of 3, and this is all really exciting because a lot of you have been theory crafting about how you want to move your wolves around into multiple teams, if it will be better to have only groups of 3 kind of split up over wallets, or maybe you should have some backups in there, how many you want to do. Well, you're going to start getting a great idea. Of course, our trait light paper went live on Monday. That was announced in the Discord. So if you haven't gone and checked that out, please do. It does give you a breakdown in the Medium article about what all the trait buffs are going to be. So use that in combination with the pregame home base now going live to be able to kind of get your squad assembled. The other thing that's going to be playing into this too is that the hit points, the HP to rarity that we've been talking about. So the higher ranking your Starwolf is, I guess in terms of like numbers, it's going to be a lower number. So rank 1 being the highest rated one. These will all have a scaling hit points to be built around, right? So if you hold a team of more rare wolves, or of course the Genesis wolves, which are always going to be the most valuable wolves in the ecosystem, you are now going to be able to see what the HP is of these wolves. So you can start building out, maybe you want to put together a super team of all of your top rated wolves, or you want to balance them out so that you have a more even distribution amongst your HP. You're going to see that. Of course, we're going to be doing that for all of our partner projects too, but we always want to make sure that you guys know that Starwolves are going to be the crown jewels of the ecosystem. And of course, maybe some of the rare galactic apes or kaijus are going to be maybe close to some of the lower ranking Star Wolves, but Star Wolves will always have the most important roles in this game, and of course our whole interoperable universe that we're creating. Free Market, how are you feeling about this? Because I
I'm
know that
loving this. So we could start playing around and see what our most OP squad would be. You see, I'm learning these gaming terms. OP. You see
yeah,
that?
you really want your squad to be based around the highest OPness that possibly you can
Don't
put
ever say
together.
that. Do not ever say that again. I'm gonna banish that from the space. Uh, the like I have been, I've been getting familiar with orcs. As we know, I have not been as much of a gamer as other people. I'm starting to learn these terms. So when you say HP, OP, I'm like, yes, I get this. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Let's go.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You have a lifelong, or like myself and a lot of people, you've played games for, your entire life. So you just pick up and know what all of these terms are and you figure it out. But for someone jumping in, there's definitely a lot of terms. You've come a long way, man, because like before Ether Orcs, I know that you never picked up any kind of game, maybe Tetris or
Well,
something.
I mean, it doesn't have to go back. That Sega Genesis, man, the best Christmas of my life was when I opened up that Sega Genesis and Sonic the Hedgehog was there and some
We
other interesting games from that era as well. We could
we
talk
were
about.
actually just reminiscing about Echo the Dolphin this
Oh,
morning
baby.
too.
Man, I even remember the Toys R Us newspaper insert that I circled Echo the Dolphin in to ask for Christmas that year. I
What
see it.
a great game.
Oh, baby. Woo.
And of course, that ties into a recent project that was popping off this morning too, that everyone's had their attention on. I'm sure if you've been in any discords, you've seen that going on right now. But a little more information on the Star Wolves. So. As of right now, and I do want to remind everybody because a lot of these numbers are subject to change, right? Once you start actually letting people loose in the ecosystem, they start clicking buttons, they start playing games, PvP battles, doing mining missions. You need that, that wide berth of information and data coming in to finding out, or to find out maybe there's some kind of unbalanced strategy that slipped our mind because the gamers that are playing this game and a lot of games are always very creative, and their whole goal is to break the game. So of course, all of these numbers can be balanced at some point if we feel like there's something that has taken way too big of a prominence in the meta of the game, as we refer to it as. But as of right now, the Genesis Wolves have the highest HP, as I mentioned, and they're going to be set for 3,000 hit points. The Generative Wolves are going to run from a range of about 900, of course, for the lowest rank wolves, to 1,600 for the highest rank wolves. So the Genesis Wolves will hold, about double the HP for even the best generative wolves, and of course they come with other benefits as well. Again, just a reminder: these will be tweaked, buffed, nerfed over time as we start to figure that out. The other bits of alpha that we have is the blobs are actually going to be covered in the light paper briefly, and they are going to be incredibly helpful in the mining missions. I always see people posting about the blobs getting listed like at the floor. And man, the volume in the NFT space isn't always crazy right now. And Starwolvez hasn't been immune to the lack of volume in the NFT market space. But when some of these valuable wolves, like the gun traits, or sorry, the blaster traits, the blobs go up and they get listed for like well below their other value, like they get snatched up really quickly. So people are definitely planning out their strategies and looking
Blob
for some
hunters everywhere.
blob hunters. Yeah, that's a good name for it. I love it. Um, the other big thing that we have coming up is the front end for the PvP battles is being worked on right now, and it will be the first game mode that you will be able to play in the game.starwolves.com. So the website version of the game. Again, I know Luca and team have been working really hard on integrating all of that and whatnot. The other thing that I wanted to mention in the Discord too is that we will be taking another quick snapshot. This has been a conversation over a lot of time and whatnot. And I think, in terms of development and some of the stuff that people have had in their personal lives going on, there was a bit more of a gap in between when we took that first snapshot than when we had planned on having things up and running for all of you. So, of course, we'll take a more up to date version of it for those of you that have been still, clicking away on the boss fights and, grinding the quests for extra XP, sorry, I should say experience points. So always good to see people still participating in that. But again, it's going to be live on the website very, very shortly. So stay tuned for that. When the home base is going live, it will be accompanied by a full tweet from the @Starwolves account. So you guys will all know the second it goes live. You can get in there, go check it out, and of course, give us all of your feedback too, because we are always listening to that. And many of the tweaks, adjustments, and ideas that we've implemented and carried forward in the game have come from some really great contributors in the Discord. So please stay engaged, stay active in there, and keep the conversation going.
We're always listening. We're always
We're
watching. We're right behind you right now.
I've actually got the chills, man. That's kind of like creepy. You can do like some like voiceover movie work or something with that. I like it.
Yes, and those announcements are amazing. R2 Sopa, we're combining Moon Monday and Terrestrial Thursday, which means we get those amazing announcements, and we have a guest. It's like Christmas, right in the middle of the week.
Christmas on a Thursday. Who would have thought? So on that note, I want to introduce from DefiMons. He's going to be joining us today, and he's actually got a couple of allow lists that we're going to give away to people in the audience too. So we're going to be giving away 3 to that. So maybe when you're listening, if you come up with a good question for us or him, you can come up and maybe take a stab at getting an allow list for their project. I had a little bit of time to look into theirs, and we're going to talk about DefiMons in a little bit, but I do want to start off with Stitch in the same way that we start off with all of our guests, and that's I kind of just want a little bit of a background from you. Who is Stitch? Where did you get into crypto? How did you get into NFTs? Where did you finally have that like aha moment that gaming, NFTs, DeFi, all of this stuff is going to be coming together, and of course lead you to be a part of a project that is upcoming?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. And if I talk about my background, I'm a full stack web developer. I'm a nerd, and I'm the lead developer for my project as well. And I have been a developer for the past 7 years. I have worked with companies such as T-Mobile, and I've worked with at least 7+ startups. And I have been working on multiple things for the past few years. And I got into crypto, I think, 2 years ago. And I looked at games like Axie Infinity recently and DeFi Kingdoms, and I saw that this is something that is similar to the old school games that popped up around 2003 2004, like Ragnarok Online or Habbo Hotel, or something like that. So those games started the to the entry point to what internet was. And actually, like, us humans only get attracted to things if we see entertainment in them. And that's why games became the entry point to internet. And now I also feel like games will again become the entry point to Web3. And that's why I wanted to replicate the same success of what Pokemon had, but in DeFi and in crypto. And that's how DefiMons came into being.
Sorry, I forgot to take myself off mute there. Yeah, that's fantastic, man. And like, what about your your gaming background in the traditional? Any games that you played growing up that really stick out? Like, I always like to ask, like, what game did you spend the most time playing?
I am, I am an avid gamer. So starting with Pokemon Red, Pokemon Leaf Green, all those old school games, Sonic, and I played all of those in my youth. Then moving on to newer games such as Red Dead Redemption. All those, Red Dead Redemption is probably my favorite, the most favorite game that I have in the recent times. But for the old school games, I would say Sonic and Pokemon Leaf Green or Pokemon Red.
Man, fellow Sonic fan, I love. Did you see the new movies? What do you think of them?
So I loved the first version, and I'm looking forward to the new ones.
Yeah, really, really good. I thought Jim Carrey killed it, and it looked good. So that's awesome, man. Well, tell us a little bit about Difimons. This is a really interesting project. Tell us about
So as I mentioned, if someone has played Pokemon, then you'd be actually like familiar with what DefiMons is trying to build. And we are just changing how the mechanics work, and we are adding new features to Pokemon. And we have our own monsters, so you'll probably see some Web3 based projects as monsters in our game. For example, Kaiju Kings, alpacas, and other different projects as monsters that you can capture in the game. Just you just move into the forest, you move into the tall grass, encounter a monster, capture it, and you mint that as an NFT. And then we have other things as well. One of these things are common with your project, so interoperability. So if you own for example a Bored Ape skin, then you will be able to move around as a Bored Ape character within our game. And similarly, we are working towards integrating your project as well. So if someone owns a Starwolf NFT, then they'll be able to move around as a Starwolf character within our game.
Man, I feel like this combines two of the biggest passions within these communities, because you see Pokemon references everywhere. And if you could just have Pokemon with the NFTs we love, I talk about this all the time, right? Like, I think we wonder about utility, and people talk about, well, all of these NFTs have the potential to be video game characters, and we can create kind of these centralized games where where these decentralized characters can get together and do a lot of the fun stuff we've done on Web 2 and on traditional games. So this is really awesome. I love your art too. Tell us a little bit about your artist. I mean, really great pixel art.
So I think we have a team of about 20 plus members, and I think we have about 12 pixel artists. So like most of the team is on the art side, and they are really really experienced, and some of them have even been game developers in the past. They have multiple games published on Steam, and really really experienced and really talented people.
I mean, that is a huge team for an NFT. A lot of these NFT projects are bootstrapped, and you got 12 artists on your team. That's impressive.
Yeah. So, even for the development side, we have, so for our game mechanics designer has worked on multiple MMORPGs such as Runes of Magic and so on. And then we have, multiple game developers who have at least 7 to 8 years of experience. So it's a huge team, and we have been building for the past 6 months. And we are, trying to launch soon. We have a lot of different things ready for players to play around with, and coming up with that apartment builder. So that's kind of inspired from Sims. I always had a dream of designing my own house in a Pokemon game. So that's where the idea came from. So, users will be able to design their houses within our game, and they'll be able to invite their friends over. They'll be able to hang their NFTs on the walls, and show off what NFTs they own and so on. So that's what we are launching this month, and then we have the battle system coming up right after that.
So what is it? So talk about the mint a little bit. Are we going to be minting land, as in apartments, or the land there? How is the minting process going to work?
So we are minting our apartments first, and we are treating that as a simple way, similar to how it would be treated if you bought a game on Steam. It's an early access pass, and you have in-game land, but you also get the other benefits such as selecting a starter monster, and you get item airdrops, and we have skins as well within the game, so you'll get skin airdrops, and essentially you will be able to test out the game before everyone else, and so on.
That's really awesome. R2, I know you use Steam a lot, right?
Oh yeah, Steam is like one of the big places that you use as a gamer, and it's definitely received a lot of my money over the years for sure.
Yeah, same. I think I've spent a lot of time on Steam, and I have spent a lot of money. And to be honest, I do not regret it, but those were fun times.
It's almost like I just, it's your own, like it's like the equivalent of like an NFT wallet where you have all of these games, but unfortunately, as we gripe about so often, once they are attached to your account, like they are in there, and you're kind of using them forever. Although I must admit, I do like collecting them, and having them in that kind of all together in that one single library. So kind of those gamers where you just like you end up with a huge wall of PlayStation games or something like that.
Yeah, same. I have a huge library, and I feel proud of it. And when I look at my Steam page and I see the number going up, and buying a new game, and I see the number go up, that feels great.
As long as you're not looking at your bank account number go down when you're doing it. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about like the future of NFT gaming and whatnot. Like one of the big things that we often talk about on Terrestrial Thursday is just this idea that like educating people in the space has become a little bit difficult. Traditional gamers seem to always push back against NFTs, the necessity for NFTs, or how they feel like they're going to be integrated. What do you think is like a big hurdle that we have to get through to kind of really allow mainstream adoption to take over?
See, I feel like the games will be the entry point towards Web3, and because as humans we want entertainment, and games provide entertainment, and games allow us as project founders, as developers, to add in multiple projects, such as using interoperability, and provide usability to existing projects. But overall, the biggest hurdle for me, and what I think it is, that most crypto users aren't gamers, and most gamers aren't crypto users, and most gamers have the flashbacks from companies such as EA, and because they start to sell everything out, and they start to convert everything into itemized things, and then not everything can be converted into those itemized things, and mostly like those companies want to make a lot of money, and that's why they have created such bad flashbacks for these gamers, and that's what gamers are scared of, that everything would be itemized and it would get costly. But overall, I feel once we slowly expose the users to these games, expose them to NFTs, and see how they are reacting to these things, then the adoption will come closer. And also, another point to add to this is, the games and the NFT projects require us to download wallets, and all those different things, and most users aren't used to downloading a separate thing for their game, and that's something that they do not want to do.
That's actually a really great point too, because I know when I download a game on Steam and it uses like another kind of launcher platform that also requires you to play it, like some of the Assassin's Creed games, right? Like you actually have to have their own launcher, and then
Mhm.
opening the game requires that. Like it's always just a minor frustration point. And then when you throw things like cryptocurrency wallets, and all of that into the mix, like I could definitely see that part of the equation having a lot of friction, and probably causes a lot of people to kind of give up before they even really start, right? But I'm always really excited about, Steam is obviously taking a very anti crypto and anti NFT stance, but Epic Gaming seems to be really leaning into it, and they're going to be adding more games to their collection that use it and involve it. And I do think that eventually those big companies, as much as we push back against the idea of Web 2 people coming into our new, Web 3 world, I do think it's going to be necessary, and you kind of just hope that the users put enough pressure on them to treat the space with respect and whatnot, right?
Steam will be
Yes.
against it as long as they don't want to do it, and the minute they want to do it, they'll be for it, just like a lot of these big companies do. So I do expect them to eventually incorporate NFTs and digital ownership as well.
Well, it actually really wasn't even too long ago that they accepted Bitcoin for games. Like, it wasn't like they've always had that stance. They did have it for, I believe, a year or two before they ended up taking it off. So it's not like unheard of, and they definitely have some of the systems and integration already kind of built in, as well as you would assume developers that have experience doing this stuff. So I mean, I do kind of agree with you right now, especially in the gaming community. It is just in vogue to hate NFTs and crypto, and especially now that we've seen those big drawbacks in the markets, and a lot of those people feel very vindicated in their anti NFT stance, right? You see them celebrating in the streets practically.
Speaking of Bitcoin, it is 21,000 American dollars for one Bitcoin right now. Just a brief update for everybody.
Slowly climbing back there.
Slowly but surely. DefiMons. Let's talk about your name, because I kind of like this. All right, DeFi Kingdoms you had mentioned briefly, and I think when you think about quote unquote crypto Twitter, it kind of falls into two camps of NFT Twitter and then kind of classic crypto Twitter. And DeFi Kingdoms seem to be kind of the first thing that almost melded the two, where it was like GameFi kind of putting them together. I see you're almost shouting them out with your name. Talk a little bit about how you see DeFi being incorporated into your product, and do you have a token, a utility token, and tokenomics?
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of different things planned, and we have our own token. We have our own chain, even. So, our NFTs are minted on Ethereum, but our game is on its own chain, and our token will be used as gas fees. Our token will be used for in-game transactions and for mutating your monsters and so on. And then we have multiple aspects of DeFi involved in the game. So, for example, we have our own DEX and a decentralized exchange. And essentially, what we want to do with our project is, become a educational project, and we want to work towards. So, for example, we have in-game quests, and we want to use these quests to teach users about, Web3, about NFTs, learn about different NFT projects, and also learn about DeFi. We are working with multiple Web3 based projects such as Dopex, Yeti Finance, Platypus Finance, and working with them to integrate stable coins and all those things. And at the end of the day, we will create quests within the game and help users learn about these NFT projects that we are integrating, and also learn about DeFi. And also, like as you mentioned, the friction part for users to come onto Web3, we are trying to reduce that as well. So we are working with Ramp for fiat on Ramp, so users would be able to just create a MetaMask wallet, log in into our game, and they'll be able to buy our token directly within our game using credit and debit cards. And this way, we make sure that they do not have to use any central exchanges or do anything like that. They can just log in into our game, play around, buy our token, and trade it anywhere they want.
That is very cool. I think about that a lot, and you seem to be thinking about it too, and that's making it very seamless for gamers to play or excuse me, to use blockchain in a sense, because I think it's not a secret that digital ownership is first and foremost what is most profound about blockchain gaming. Obviously, also the economic aspects of having built-in economies and the ability to have dexes and trade those things, but it needs to look very much like a normal game. Like you need to have a free to play model on some level. Yes, we're minting NFTs right now, and there's going to be ownership benefits and all of that, but eventually there has to be a free to play mode. People have to easily be able to buy your in-game token with a credit card. It can't be I have to buy Coinbase, I have to buy Ether on Coinbase, then send it to my MetaMask, then use that to buy the token, then it needs to just be very seamless. You seem to already be thinking about those things.
Yeah, that's what we are trying to do. And also, as you mentioned, like the free to play part. So for our game, if you log in into our game, you get a free skin. You can move around, you can interact with other players who might be wearing a Starwolf skin, and they get to learn about the project. They get to learn about multiple NFT based projects, because other players would be showcasing what NFTs they own. And this way we are providing accessibility and also like viewership to existing NFT projects, while side by side we are making sure that the game is accessible to all. And also like accessibility is one of the main aspects for our project. So we built out the game with HTML5. We made sure that it runs on all browsers, it runs on all mobile phones, and you don't have to download anything else except for having a MetaMask wallet. And even for the MetaMask wallet, we'll be creating tutorials for Web2 based users to learn how to install the wallet, how to connect it, how to buy our token, and so on.
Love that, man. I thought I was unmuted. That's really great. And this is the area I think right now, and people are talking a lot, and because NFTs are heating up again, and people are wondering where the money is going to fly. I see a lot of it going to generative art, but I think gaming, especially the way projects like yours and Starwolvez are thinking about it, I think that is largely going to be what the next trend is about. And it's really amazing to see projects like you thinking the right way and about to approach this meta that I think's bearing down on us.
Yeah, to be honest, I think as the market moves forward, slowly NFTs will try to detach from the overall movements in the market, because essentially like NFTs are now being treated as in-game items. They are being treated as something that you can trade without caring about the value of the token that is being they are based upon. But overall I see the growth with NFTs, and and them growing in number as we move forward. And also like we will soon probably see a lot of Web2 based companies come into the NFT space, and integrate NFTs into the games, into integrate them in other things. And because in the ownership part, it can be usable in multiple areas, and that's what's cool about NFTs and overall blockchain.
Yeah, and what I think a lot of what's missed in the conversation too, and you'll hear this a lot about P2E or on-chain gaming, and however you want to call it, because there's a lot of people that believe, quote unquote, the model can't work, it's Ponzonomics, all this type of stuff. And then the response to that is, well, you have to create a good game. Well, what is a good game, right? And it's almost less what is a good game, because there's a lot of proven game loops that are addicting. And we know, people just will put different skins on them or have different takes on that game loop, and it works just because that particular game loop loop is addicting. But then what is that X factor and what is it? I think the best games and what gamers like are things that reward creativity and skill, right? Like that's what
Hmm.
keeps people coming back to a game. It's that they feel like I'm good at this. This feels good to do this thing well. This thing that is slightly difficult that other people like. And that is what I think all gaming companies, but that's how you have to approach it, right? We NFT people, we're approaching it like, well, the NFT is what's valuable here, right? Because that's the
Hmm.
thing you buy, that's what you want to go up. But a real gamer, what he finds valuable is an outlet for his creativity and skill. So if that's what kind of directs you, I think that's that kind of missing X factor that makes a game quote unquote good.
Yeah, that's something also that we have in mind. And you look at games like Axie Infinity and why they are failing slowly. The main point being like they didn't have any skill based minting. So if you wanted to mint a new Axie, you just buy some tokens and you pay those tokens and you can mint that. But it's not skill based at all. So with our game, what we did was in the battle system, it's similar to Pokemon. You are trying to capture a new monster, and if you're a good player, you'll spend less on health packs and stamina packs, and you'll be able to mint the monster easily. But if you're a bad player, then you'll spend more on health packs and stamina packs, and the mint of that new monster will be costlier for you. So it becomes more skill based. And essentially that's something that all NFT holders love. If you look at NFT minting practices, then everyone loves surprises and everyone loves the what should I call it, uh, the urge for adventure. And that's something the users want. They do not want to mint these NFTs directly using tokens.
Yeah, well said. I mean, when it's just about the prize or the money, that's where you have the issue, right? It's when the prize and the money is secondary. It's icing on the cake that you create something very special and sticky that I think is really going to resonate with gamers and completely change the gaming world. And I everything you guys are saying, I think, is how we are thinking at Starwolvez as well. It makes me really excited about your project.
Yeah, definitely. Even like as I was listening to your announcements, I feel like we both projects are doing a lot of things on the same level in terms of interoperability, in terms of the game economies, and so on. And I love what you guys are doing, and that's something that we are in this space for, to build out partnerships, to build out long term partnerships where each project complements the other. And that's how interoperability will play a big role in overall growth of this whole space.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to just echo what Free Market said just about the idea that, having a game that somebody wants to play is far like it just is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly sticky. And then rewarding it in the way that a lot of these NFT games are trying to do and haven't really done in the past is what's going to be key. Of course, things like ether where you're yielding these valuable resources that all have function within the game, but also hold value within the economy is what kind of creates those value propositions. But it's also just about redefining expectations because with so many of those NFT based games that we saw over the past 6 months, you come to realize that they weren't really games at all. They were just risk protocols. They were just, DeFi yield systems built on top of NFTs. And it really did just become a rush to become a whale, and the first person that pulls out in a big way is generally the biggest winner. And for so many people, that's not really a game, that's not really fun. And you just watch these projects become flash in the pans rather than just building something long lasting that people just really enjoy. So I'm glad to see so many of these projects that we talk to, we interview, are all starting to think along those lines. And I do think that you're going to see a huge cohort of these really successful games that really push the Web3 gaming sphere into the forefront simply because building these good quality things takes a lot more time than a lot of the other stuff that has been done. I think a lot of that stuff, planted a seed in the real founders, in the real developers' minds of like, oh, I can see where this can go. I can see why this is valuable, and I can see what can be built. But it's not something that's thrown together in 2 weeks to catch a hype cycle or something. It's something that's going to be built over 6 months, a year. We see some of these huge games in Web 2 that take full teams 3, 4, 5 years to develop. Some of them are in kind of pre-release for a couple of years before that even happens. And they really do become just a constant evolution. Like we see a lot less sequels in games because they just build this one game and it just constantly evolves and evolves and evolves. And if you look at where it's come from, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, they could literally be completely different games. And I think that, we're going to hit a point where you see a lot of that in the Web3 gaming space too, where people have had time, people have had a year to work on this. They start to launch it, and then they're just constantly developing, constantly evolving. And that's one of the plans that we have with Starwolvez too, right? To create a game that we're going to put out and then constantly build on top of it, constantly layer in, constantly adjust, tweak, tell a story, have a narrative around it, create something that people have fun and want to log into every single day, and have options of whether or not you want to spend 5 minutes playing the game or 5 hours playing the game. And if you can achieve that, you've managed to create an incredibly robust game and concept, I think.
Yeah, that is something that I totally agree on. And we I think we are in the best time in this space right now, because we saw the initial GameFi projects, and we saw them grow, we saw them fail, and we saw what things they did wrong. And we also, at the same time, founders saw these projects grow, and they started building out actual games that were built for long term sustainability. And we'll start seeing those projects being launched soon, because as you said, like, these games take a lot of time. For example, we have been building for the past 6 months, and we are now launching the first version of our apartment builder. And also, I think, like, the Web3 space and the Web3 as a general has a curse kind of thing, because in Web 2, when I worked in Web 2, all these things took a lot of time. And you had sprints, and you had to change on smaller things. And in Web 3, all these things move a lot faster, and all the users expect you to build out a game as soon as possible, and build out the whole project as soon as possible, because they do not have time, and they just want to play the whole game today and finish it here and there. So that's kind of the curse that comes with Web3. But this space is new, and I feel like, as time goes forward, users will get smart. They'll realize that these games, actual products, take time, and we should give this time to the developers, and then only we'll end up with quality products that are built for the long term sustainability.
Yeah, fantastic. FMC, you got any other questions for our friend Stitch here before we start to wrap the spaces up?
No, I think that's it. Really appreciate this talk. A huge shout out. I am definitely going to check out the project and give it a shot. I love your art. Really appreciate you coming on here, my friend.
Stitch, is there any final words you want to say about DefiMons? Get the last word in there.
First of all, thank you so much for having me, and this conversation was fantastic, and I learned a lot of things here as well. And overall, like, regarding DefiMons, so we are minting soon, and if you're interested, owning a land in a Pokemon style world, come check us out, and we'll also, like, let you choose your starter monster soon. And yeah, let's get hunting.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it. Yeah, this was a great conversation too, and it's one of the things that I really love about this space is that you can have so many different people with so many different backgrounds, kind of coming into it and seeing the potential here, and just really building something that is long lasting. Is kind of what it's all about, and connecting and collaborating with like-minded projects is always just a delight because it's good to know that I believe a rising tide lifts all ships, and other people that are really just focused on building big quality projects, and putting a lot of passion and care into it is a good sign that there will be a big swell of things to come, and it's just going to be a really exciting time. So on that note, Freemark, is there anything else that you want to cover in terms of Starwolvez, the market? Any final thoughts that you have before I give us the rundown?
No, sir. Been a great combo Moon Monday, Terrestrial Thursday. Really appreciate the fantastic time. We'll see you for our normal Moon Monday, 4 p.m. on Monday. Looking forward to that. Great time, R2. Thank you.
Of course, yes. This has been a really great space. Moon Monday, Terrestrial Thursday, together on this July 7th. Lots of huge things to come. Of course, going to remind everybody, especially if you tuned in late, the home base part of the Starwolvez game is going to be going live some point today. Keep an eye out on the Starwolvez Twitter account for that announcement, and hop into the Discord and let us know what you think. Let us know how we're doing. Let's have that conversation. Always love to engage with the community members. Again, want to thank Stitch from DefiMons. Keep an eye out for that project. This was a great conversation. We've got some allow lists that we're going to give away for DefiMons, but we're going to give that away in the Starwolvez Discord via raffle. I think that's the fairest way to do it right now. So I'm going to, after this space, I'm going to set up that raffle in the holders chat, and get that to you guys so that you can potentially participate in the DefiMons mint. So free market, Stitch, thank you once again, and to all the wolves out there. We'll see you in the Discord.